Hi, friends. It's Marianne Goldweber, spiritual teacher, medium clairvoyant, owner of a village personal and spiritual development center, joining you tonight live from my video podcast, which is Marianne's house. And we have a lovely guest this evening. We have Nance behind me. There's Nance. So we got a live audience, a live captive audience. So we're going to wait for a second, as we do, for you guys to get on here. And tonight's topic we're going to talk about is animal messengers and the work I do as a medium, talking to our or not necessarily furry friends in the animal kingdom. So, pets and all those things. So, that's our topic for tonight. So, this should be very interesting. What do you think, Nance?
I think it's great.
Yeah, Nance is a pet owner, was a pet owner, and her puppies have crossed over now, and yeah, so we're going to talk about that. So make sure you let us know you're here. Hey, Crystal. I might have Crystal call in. We had a funny story with Crystal.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So at the last channeling event. So when you attend a channeling event, I don't just talk to ancestors and relatives. We also talk to pets, and get that spiritual perspective from the other side about what our pets mean to them and to us, and so we're going to talk about that tonight. So if you guys have any questions, you're welcome to post them here. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Deb. Nice to see you here. Thanks for joining me tonight. And we have Nance hanging out with me this evening. Yay. She's, God bless her that she's on live with me. That's awesome. A lot of people don't want to do this with me. Jared doesn't want to do it with me. I think he's afraid of what I'm going to say about him. You know? I should have said, there's nobody here with me. Pretend you were a ghost or something. That would be
Yeah,
funny.
that would have been good.
I don't see anybody sitting back there. Do you? We could have had you going, ooh, you know?
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Yeah, medium humor. That's kind of how we roll. Hey, Jamie. Yeah, so thanks for joining us, everybody. Oh, you're watching me in Florida. Oh, hey, just so you know, it's like 50 degrees here right now. It's really windy, though. It's very nice, though. Way better than 10. I'm so over winter, guys. I can't even tell you. We got a lot of new things coming up, too. I'm very excited about. So if you guys get a chance to go onto the website, I uploaded the new class schedule for um, the natal chart, the astrology class. That is such a fun one. So you guys might want to go on there and register for that. Yeah, we got a lot of new things going on. It is exciting, Jamie. So, you might not need your winter coat when you come back and visit us. So, yeah. Hey, Casey. So, I'm Marianne Goldweber. I'm a professional medium. I've been doing mediumship work for over 25 years. And so, again, we don't just talk about, for me, we don't always just talk to ancestors or relatives or guides on the other side. There's also our animal helpers, which are messengers, our pets that have, gone before us, which you guys call the Rainbow Bridge. And so, yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about how that works and how that works for them. And I'm going to be rolling out the offering where I'm going to start doing pet readings. So, we're going to talk about that tonight. Yeah, that's, it's something I never really think to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, I do this all the time, but, yeah, and it's anything that, yeah, we'll talk all about it. But anyway, thanks for joining me, everybody. I got the wrong glasses on. Where's my? Oh, there's the blue ones. Hey, Ralph. All right. So what's new with you guys? what's new in your worlds. So, just so you guys know, today is the new moon. And this new moon is in the sign of Leo, which, God bless my Leo friends, but Leo is a very dynamic sign. They're very passionate. They're always in a hurry. They just want to get there. Okay, so they don't really like the detail of things. So having this full moon in the sign of Leo makes us feel like excited or, like I said, energized. It might make some of you feel anxious today and tomorrow. So don't be surprised if that's happening. But this is, there's a word of caution with that because, again, because sometimes people want to cut corners when they're in a hurry. And so cutting corners or cheating, okay, or, taking the shortcut isn't always a good thing because we want to do everything with integrity and do it in its own time. So even though this makes you want to rush to do that, you really want to pace yourself. But this is a wonderful time for us to actually bring things into the physical world. So if you have a plan or you have an idea, you want to put something into action in the next day or so. So what are you manifesting, Nancy? Anything you want to talk about?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Okay. So for me, like I said, I'm planting seeds all the time. So there's a couple of things that I'm going to be putting out into the physical world. So for me, updating the website and talking to you guys about these things is how we bring those actions into the physical world. So we take it from concept to reality on some level. So this is a wonderful time to do that. So if you guys have any ideas, you just want to put something into the physical world today, you can burn that as well. But we want to create one action that actually brings that idea into the physical world. So that's the way we keep manifesting. So this is a wonderful time for that. So anyway, so we got Jamie and we got Betty, Jackie. Anxious today for sure. I know, Monica. So again, I'm a Pisces. Um, so I'm not super excitable in that way. I mean, I'm all full of ideas, but again, bringing it into the physical world in detail is not my strength either. So same thing with Leo. They're always in a hurry, so they're like, screw the details. We'll just figure it out when we get there. And that isn't necessarily the best way to do it. So for all you Leos out there who are always in a hurry, this is definitely a time to pace yourself. Hey, Debbie, Mary Kay, Claire, listening to Napoleon Hill. Yeah, so, Napoleon Hill is one of the original motivational speakers. I posted a post about him the other day. He actually, Andrew Carnegie had him research successful people and what makes them successful. And he documented this whole thing about how to do that. And so I posted a whole video series that he did. And now, mind you, this is like in the 30s, 1930s. And Napoleon Hill was just such an interesting guy. But it wasn't about manifesting more stuff necessarily. It was about being abundant in your life and how to be successful. And, with integrity and character and all these other wonderful things. So I love Napoleon Hill. We were talking about Zig Ziglar last time. So Zig Ziglar loved Dale Carnegie. And then Dale Carnegie, Andrew Carnegie. I mean, all these were motivational speakers back in the day. So they knew all the industrialists, and so that's what Napoleon Hill did. He interviewed people for over 25 years about what makes them successful. People like Edison. He talked to all the industrialists, and so he was very well versed in that. So he wrote a whole book about what he found throughout all that research over time. So yeah, so if you guys get a chance to listen to anything by him, Napoleon Hill, um, he says that one of the most important things all of them did is that even though they weren't experts in their area, they surrounded themselves with people that knew more than them. And so they had what they called a mastermind group. And so that was the key to a lot of the success is aligning with other people. So you don't have to know it all. You can align with people who are the things that you're not. And together then you can make those things happen. So that's how Edison did it. Edison was not an engineer, so it was pretty interesting. So that's that. And that's that. I love Napoleon Hill. Hey, Michelle. Oh, you're a Taurus. Yeah, so this is going to make you anxious, Monica, because Tauruses are very, solid. They move slowly. And so having this excitable energy, especially in Leo, is probably making you feel a little anxious. Well, congratulations, Judy. Judy's celebrating 3 years sober today. Yay, go Judy. That's no small feat, friend. I'm very proud of you. All right, kids. So we're going to talk about um, the mediumship that I do and working with animals. So people are surprised by this. Um, so so in the hierarchy of things in this human life, okay, we're here to learn things. Our soul came here to create experiences. It chose the situation that we're in. We picked our parents. We picked all the stuff just to create experiences during this lifetime. Okay, so we're constantly bumping into soulmates along the way. So so what animals represent in this human life, okay, is their messengers or their messengers or their companions to us. So when you have domesticated animals like cats and dogs and things like that, those animals are companions to us sorry humans as we're out here having these painful experience of living. And so animals are really not here. They don't really have souls. They actually are spirit. And so they're here not for their own lessons or things to learn, like we evolve, our soul evolves. They're actually more evolved than we are. And so our animal helpers and companions throughout this lifetime are here to give us unconditional love and support while we're out here in our human experience. So normally, when it's time for our animal friends to go, quite often especially with dogs, we have to usually compassionately put them down because they normally don't know when to leave us. Okay, they want to stay and support us and do those things, and so quite often we have to do what's best for them and release them from their obligation of helping us. Okay, so I don't know if you guys got a chance to see the movie A Dog's Purpose, but that is probably for me as a medium the thing that was the closest to how this really works when it comes to animals. So what I've learned in the 25 plus years I've been doing this is so these animals are not only companions to us, but our animal tribe. The whether it's the you know our animal friends or insects or birds or lizards, all of those things are messengers, and they all have a meaning in their strengths and their weaknesses. So they're coming to us also as messengers. So somebody was just talking about the other day they were having a dream about a snake. Okay, and so if you guys want more information regarding these totem animals or animal messengers, there's a really great book by Ted Andrews called Animal Speaks. And there's also a wonderful book by Jamie Sams that we use, which is also called Medicine Cards. Okay, so it comes with a deck of 50 some cards, and all of them have a different animal, and they all have a different. They tell you the entire story of what that animal means in indigenous culture. So when we see these animals, when they come into our perspective, so whether you're driving down the street or whether you have a dream or you see something that looks like an animal, okay, like the other day I was driving through the Metro Park, Nance, and that morning it was funny because I had pulled the card prairie dog, okay, and so that's from the medicine cards deck. So it was interesting because later in the day I was driving through the metro parks, and on the bike trail there was a groundhog, but he was skinny and he was sitting up looking at me as I came around the corner, and he looked just like a prairie dog. Okay, so because we don't have prairie dogs here in Ohio, so that was a confirmation for the message I had got earlier in the day. So anything that intersects our perspective or enters into our consciousness, whether it's in out in the world or whether it's in dream time, that is a messenger. And so the strength and weakness of that animal is the message. Okay. So snake is interesting because if you think about snakes, sometimes they're poisonous, but snakes shed their skin, And so sometimes it's about shedding things that aren't working for us anymore. So if you have a snake in your house or you happen to drive down the road and see a snake on the side of the road, that's a message about where can we be looking at letting go of things that aren't working for us anymore or things that are inhibiting us from having new stuff in our life. So when you look up the message of those animals, now if you don't have these books, you can order them online. But I would highly recommend even just putting in totem animal, and then whatever animal you've seen, and then you're going to get the story about what that animal actually means symbolically from that spiritual perspective, and it's quite frequently pretty mind blowing when you look at the messages behind those things. So because animals don't have language, human language, they communicate through what we call telepathy, which is a projected thought. Now, people do this. It's kind of like, if Nance pops in my head and 2 or 3 times, I'll call her, okay? But usually she'll call me first, so it's a projected thought. So Nance is thinking about me, oh, Marianne, wonder how she's doing. And then I'm like, oh, Nance, I haven't heard from her in a while. So I'll pick up the phone and call her, and she'll go, I was just thinking about you. Right. So that's, and so again, that popping in your head is the communication. Okay. Now, with animals, that's the only way they communicate. So anything that's nonverbal as well. So children, babies, up until they're like 7 years old, communicate telepathically. They kind of walk in two worlds until you're fully human at like 7 years old. So little ones will see things, or sometimes they will um, uh, project a thought. So, but we're just not listening because we listen with our ears and we don't listen with our inner knowing. So for me, that's just really easy, and I communicate. The other side only communicates telepathically. So anything that communicates telepathically, I can hear that. Okay. So funny story. I was holding somebody's baby one day. They're like, "You want to hold my baby?" I'm like, "Sure." So I'm holding this baby, and I'm holding him, and it was so funny because he said to me in my telepathic communication, what he said was, "I really hate these footy pajamas." Poor little guy, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. And in my mind, I sent it back to him. I said, I'm so sorry. I'll tell your mom. So I said to his mother, I said, just so you know, your baby really hates those footy pajamas. She goes, oh my God, he's always trying to rip them off. I go, then why are you putting them on him if he hates them so much? And I know that we get tired of, not being able to, having them take off their socks and their clothes and stuff. So I understand why. But anyway, and then he said, that thing over the bed scares me at night, like when they turn off the lights. So I guess they had a mobile over his bed, and he said it looked like monsters when the lights were off. Like, So anyway, I'm like, and he really hates that mobile. Whatever you have hanging over his bed, it looks like a monster. She goes, oh, he's not sleeping right. I thought if I wound it up and turned it on, it would put him to sleep. Yeah, no. Now he thinks he's being attacked by monsters. So let's get rid of that, okay? Well, come to find out, the poor thing, he slept a lot better when they stopped putting footy pajamas on him and got rid of that mobile in his room. But we're not really, again, for me, this form of communicating is almost as audible as language for me because, like I said, there's a lot of factors that make us more empathic, more intuitive than others. And like I said, I'm at the top of the Richter scale on some of these things. So when I'm with people's pets, quite often their pets will tell me things too. Okay. Now, the funny thing for me as a medium is that when I channel pets, they sound like cartoon characters. Okay. So they're like, hi, I'm the dog. It's so weird and funny, and it makes me giggle every time. But, so people's pets, whether they're on the other side or they're living, have things to say about you and their life and how that goes. And so, animals see everything, guys. Okay, so animals see all your ancestors and relatives when they come into your house. So imagine, you're your dog, okay, and you're laying on the floor, and all of a sudden this old elderly guy just walks past you through the wall, through your house. You don't even know who this guy is, okay? And so what does your dog do? He just starts barking at nothing. What you think is nothing. He's actually barking at your ancestor as they're going by, okay? Now, cats are even funnier. When cats see things that they don't know, this is where they go like, they put their back up and they're like, when they don't recognize somebody. So if you really want to peacify your pet, okay, And you know that you're, especially if you've talked to me and you know what ancestors are coming to visit you regularly, whether it's your grandparents or your parents or your partner or whatever, um, you want to introduce them to the dog. Okay, so if you have a living pet, you want to show them a photo of this person and say, in your mind to them, or even out loud, you say, "This is my grandfather, and he's allowed here." Okay, so I just want you to meet him. So if you see him, that you don't bark at him. And so, quite often, you'll find that now the animal might look up, but that's all they do. They don't get up and bark or chase it or growl or anything like that. So that's happens quite often. Another interesting thing that happens with animals on this side is they also see other animals that have passed away. So if you had other pets that had passed, your pets, and again, our ancestors and our pets never really leave us. Okay, so your other pets are still there, and so quite often your invisible pets, the ones on the other side, will do things to make your living pet chase them or run after them or do something, like jump or do something funny. And so yeah, so your poor dogs and cats and they see all that, guys. Okay, and you're all wigged out wondering what the heck it is. Well, it's your own ancestors or it's your other pets that happen to go before you before them. So yeah, so that's what I do, and I actually can actually do that in a session if that's something that you guys are interested in. I've never really put those out there before as a session on their own. But if you guys wanted to know what your current pet thinks about you or what's going on in his life, I'm going to offer these. They're going to be $40 for a half an hour session. So if you guys want to set something like that up, just give me a call, and we'll do some of that work. But I normally do channel people's pets when I'm working with them as well. Not as often as we do people because most people want to hear from people. But, sometimes we just want to know. I have pets on the other side. And they're, like I said, our pets never leave us, but they do have a lot of insight on us and what we need to be doing or, how we affect them. Just because they can't talk doesn't mean they're not having experiences with us, okay? Or they're not feeling what we're feeling emotionally. And so they just want to comfort us and help us through this crazy human life that we're having. And so it's kind of nice to clear up the static and hear what they have to say. I know, right? Isn't that fun? I've channeled your pets, haven't I, Nance?
You have.
Yes. Yes. I've channeled Nance's pets. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions about that, let's go here. So again, when you start understanding the symbolism of animals and what they mean, your dream time gets better. So this is part of the dream class where we talk about the symbolism, especially when it comes to animals. So so knowing the different understandings of the animals is another symbolism that you can use to try and decipher dream time, or even the messages that we're getting in the course of a day, right? I mean, you pull those. So this was funny. So I was with a client one day, and the squirrel was coming in her message, and I'm like, "There's a squirrel here." Well, she feeds the squirrels. Number one, okay. Secondly, um, I was telling her all about squirrel, how it's about running without focus, that we're not, squirrels are actually very methodical. They know when to play, they know when to store their food, they know when to, so they work very cyclically. And so she was not. So if you ever seen that crazy squirrel that's running around the yard, with no focus, that was her. Okay. So when we got done with her session, I pulled out the medicine cards. Okay. And I had her pull one before we started. And she turned that card over. Do you know what it was? Squirrel. I mean, right? I mean, how many more messages do you have to get? So that's a confirmation. Yeah, isn't that funny?
Exactly.
So yeah, so I channel people, animals, guides, ancestors, angels. I mean, all kinds of things are on the other side, guys. And these things are really here to help us. We're the ones that are remedial. We're the ones that are out here learning lessons, the big painful ones. Okay, and so animals aren't here to learn. They're just here to help our sorry asses through this experience that we're having. God bless them. Yeah, so dogs represent loyalty and unconditional love. Animals they're unconditional. They don't have an expectation of you. And again, they're not taking this whole reality personally either, okay? They know that humans are flawed. Okay, they're more evolved than we are on the spiritual hierarchy, and so they don't take it personal. All right, so let's see who we got here and what they have to say. All right, we got a lot. Uh, so Diane says, I miss my dog Tank so much, even though I have two fur babies now. Okay, we're going to talk about some of these things. I just want to go through the comments first. I totally agree. They're more evolved. They are. That movie was special. So she's talking about the movie A Dog's Purpose. If you guys get a chance to watch that, it really shows you how animals reincarnate. So, like, dogs are always dogs, cats are always cats, birds are always birds. And so, what they do is they technically just kind of leave the body. Now, the difference between for me, what really happens in the movie is they normally don't reincarnate in the same life. They wait for you to get back. They wait for you to be done with your journey and then they reincarnate. So Kristen says, good evening. Oh my God, I would love to book this for my daughter. Last year she lost her best friend, Chester. Aw. And she hasn't gotten over it to this day. She said she feels like a part of her was lost with him. Yes, that unconditional love. I mean, I don't, sometimes you can have that kind of unconditional love for an animal because people are conditional. Our love sometimes isn't unconditional with people because with people there's a give and take, whereas animals love you even when you're an asshole. I mean, they're just pure. And yes, I can see why she would definitely be disappointed by that. So I would love to help her with that, Amanda. Just when we're done, I'm going to put all my information. Just give me a call and we'll book a little half hour with her so she can have a chat with Chester. Oh, Kristen, that was you with the mamba snake. Yes. Oh my God, I was laughing so hard when I read that. I knew I was going to be on here tonight, and I was hoping that you would join me, because yeah. So we have some things to do together, but yeah. So dreaming about a snake, well, especially since a mamba is poisonous. Okay, that sometimes it's about transmuting the poison of other people. So it's interesting that if a snake is not victim to its own venom. Okay. So, but I would really think that, there's a lot that has to do with the actual dream itself and where the snake appeared and how that shows up. But snake is always about transmuting poison, which is usually from other people, and being immune to that. Or it's also about shedding things that are no longer working. So whether that's like I said, the rest of the dream tells us where this is about. So I'd love to talk to you more about that. And we're due for a session anyway, so give me a call. I pulled a card from the medicine cards every day. Contrary turtle, right? Okay, well, you laying on your back, Debbie? Like this? Oh, help me. Sometimes we feel stuck, so that's very, very interesting. And so Crystal says, we could have used your help when our Josh was little. So I want to tell a funny, if you're okay with this, Crystal, just give me a thumbs up. Okay. So I was channeling for Crystal recently, and the reason I'm sharing this is because, and I normally do not share what goes on in sessions, but this is a public channeling event, so I'm hoping she's going to be okay with it. So her father-in-law came through and was saying she has a new puppy, she has a new dog, and he's like one of those kind of lurpy, bigger puppies. So he's like doesn't know how big he is yet, and he's full of energy. Well, anyway, so her father-in-law was telling me that he plays fetch with the new dog. Okay, so I said, so here's this older gentleman pretending that he's throwing a ball, and her dog chases it. So she sees him throw the ball, and then she goes running down the hall chasing it, and then she can't find it because there is no ball, right? Yeah. So then she comes all the way back, and then he pretends and he throws the ball again. And so the dog runs back and forth, and it's actually he's chasing a ball that a dead guy's playing fetch with him. It's hilarious. So yeah, so when you think there's something wrong with your dog, probably not. Okay, they see a lot more than you do. Anyway, I thought that was just the funniest damn thing. So the dog's down there looking for a ball that doesn't exist because he's playing fetch with her father-in-law on the other side, which I thought was hilarious. So anyway. So yeah, so when you see your animals looking at things or acting funny, yeah, there's other things. But just so you guys know, nothing bad can get in your house without your permission. Okay, your ancestors and your relatives would not let anything bad in your house. So when you get all wigged out because the dog's getting wigged out, they just don't know your ancestors. Okay, so it's usually your grandma or your grandpa or somebody that you know that the dog doesn't know. So that's why we have to introduce them. So yes, your houses are not haunted just because your animals act weird. You can't be haunted by your own people. Right, Nance?
Right.
Yeah. They're helping you. They don't need you. They don't need me. They're here because we need them. Okay? So anyway, so yeah, when your animals act funny, that's an indicator. So Debbie pulled turtle today. That's a fun one. Oh, contrary too on top of it. Uh Hi Dottie. I miss you, friend. Dottie's on. Nance.
Yep. Hey, Daddy.
So Jennifer says, same with my dog. In my head, he sounds like a cartoon character. My cat sounds more dignified, almost snotty. I know, right? Cats are kind of snotty. So Crystal says, do our pets that have passed on come back to visit? And do alive pets see them too? Yes. And I think I kind of answered that. So, yeah, so sometimes the old pets are there messing around or playing with the new pets. And, and so, yes, that's what that looks like. Aw. Hey, Stephanie. Yeah, so actually, Crystal, our pets don't really leave us in that way. So just like the other side is always going on around us, so is that going on with our pets as well. It was interesting because when I had put my cats to sleep, and they were both ill, and so anyway, so like 3 days later, I'm laying on my side in the bed, and I feel the cat jump on the bed. Now, mind you, the lights are off. Okay. And I feel the cat walk down my leg and lay on my hip. My pumpkin did that. Okay. So I'm laying there and I go, hey, Punky. And then I went, wait a minute. I don't have cats anymore. And I thought, oh my God, if I turn on that light and there's an animal laying on me, I'm going to have a heart attack. Okay. So I just said, good night, Punky. Sweet dreams. And I just went to sleep because, I knew what it was. But, anyways, that was just very funny. Yeah. So Pumpkin was still there, and I got to feel him. So that was fun. So Amanda says, my beagle always looks up at the landing on our steps. Good to know it's my ancestors or my rot. Yes, exactly, Amanda. So it's comforting to know that, but like I said, I introduce the pet to the person or the other animal, and if they didn't know them, but quite often, they'll lay in the spot that they used to lay before. So you might even feel like you want to step over an area because you kind of have this memory of them laying there. Well, sometimes they really are still laying there. Okay, so Rachel, all you do is call me on the phone, 216-324-2657, and I'm going to go ahead and leave all the information tonight. So you just pay under readings and you just pay $40 and you just put pet session. And then that's what we'll do. And we'll have a half hour session talking about our pets. Usually your people slip in too once in a while. So Donna said, I still feel our dog's here with us. My husband is still devastated. Exactly. So maybe if you want to have him watch this, have him watch this video, it might bring him a little comfort and understanding. So, like I said, our pets are unconditional. They're not here to learn, they're here to be companion to us. Sorry ass humans who are in the middle of all these, lessons and experiences. And so, again, they don't take it personal when we have to put them down. They know more than we do, and they're way wiser than we are. So, and again, until we get to drop our robe and go to the Blue Road of Spirit, everything gets to meet you there, guys. Your pets, your ancestors, everybody welcomes you home, and but they're still helping us from the Blue Road in our human life. It's just that we have to. We just have to have faith and trust and know that, we're always being divinely guided. So that's why I do this. So Rudy says, we have a cardinal that's always sitting on our cars. I'll park and it flies up and looks in the windows. Okay, I have to tell you, cardinals are the stupidest birds, okay, when it comes to stuff like that. They love their own reflection, okay? And so so if you get online and you put totem animal cardinal, okay, That is our state bird. And just so you know, there's a ton of them. But cardinals are not real bright. And so they're mating. They're trying to impress each other in the reflection in your car window. I used to have one that used to just go up to my side mirror.
Yeah.
And we had a neighbor where he would just kept trying to get into our house thinking that there was a bird on the inside. It was so weird. Yeah, they're funny. But anyways, cardinals are always a sign of spring as well. So we have a cardinal that's always sitting on our cars. I'll park and it flies up and looks in the window at me. Yes, he's like, "Who are you? There was a cute bird here yesterday. Who are you, mister?" And again, where do you look that up and just say, "Okay, what do I need to learn from this cardinal?" So anytime we have animal messengers that are birds, okay, you have to think about birds is that they not only do they walk on the ground, but they fly. Okay, so it's about seeing things from a higher perspective. And then each bird has a different meaning. So the book Animals Speak, you can even Google Animals Speak, meaning for cardinal. The book Animals Speak has it broken out between birds, lizards, insects, and animals, and fish. Yeah, it's broken out into all the different tribes. Okay, the animal tribes. So, and it not only gives you the indigenous understanding of each animal, it gives you all the different spiritual concepts, whether it's Egyptian or Celtic or Wiccan. It has all the different meanings for all the different animals in there, and it puts it under each category. It also tells you like if it's a masculine or feminine. And yeah, it's a wonderful book. It's called Animals Speaks by Ted Andrews. And God bless Ted. He's on the Blue Road now. But I always wanted to meet him because I thought that was it's a wonderful book. All right, so let's see. We got Ralph. Our cats probably think we are effing crazy. Yes, right? Could you imagine being a cat and looking at you guys and watching us do what we do? And cats are very aloof, okay? So when you think about dogs, dog represents loyalty, where cats are leaders. It's a leadership thing. And so they don't operate in a gang, okay, or a pride, okay? Cats are solitary creatures. They're very self-sufficient, okay? And so it tells us a lot about ourselves, whether you like dogs or cats or both or whatever. But yeah, cats are very aloof and they only interact, with you when they basically want something. They can be very affectionate, but it's on their terms. Okay, so cats represent leadership, and so so yeah, so cats are a whole nother breed, and cats are hilarious. Cats are probably the sneakiest things when they're on the other side. They love just making people do stuff or jump.
Really?
Oh yeah, especially dogs. The cats love to mess with dogs when they're on the other side. Because cats are sneaky like that. Hi, Jack. Great to see this village show happening. Love and hug and prayers to all. Right. It's interesting, Jack, because, most people don't really. Well, it's interesting because in indigenous cultures, they believe that animals used to talk to us. But man being what we are, humans, two legged, that we started taking and killing them for sport. And there's a even when indigenous peoples hunt, they do it in a respectful way and ask permission to do that. Okay, so it's a very sacred thing. Whereas so animals used to talk to man, but because man started dishonoring animals, they stopped talking to us. And so in dream time, I had my teacher Dave. I had this polar bear chasing me in this dream one night. Well, every night actually. And I said to him, I said, "Well, what's with this bear?" He said, "Well, why don't you ask it what it wants?" And I thought, "What?" Okay, so the next night in my dream, here comes the polar bear chasing me, and I'm running, and all of a sudden I thought, "Wait a minute." Dave said, "Talk to the bear." So I stopped and I turned around in my dream and I said, "What do you want?" And the bear goes, "You're going the wrong way." I'm and I woke up because I was going the wrong way. And the symbolism of bear is about introspection. And so I was running from my, looking at myself,
Wow.
which is exactly what I was doing at the time. I didn't want to know. It was the middle of a lot of crazy stuff. So, anyway, so that's the symbolism of this, guys. So, whether it's in dream time or whether it's in the waking time, okay, or we even see a leaf that looks like a mouse or a leaf that looks like that is a message from that particular animal messenger. So, So yeah, set up a session. It's so much fun. So Michelle says, I like your advice about introducing a new pet to your ancestors. We got a puppy last September. It's been a work in progress with all of us trying to communicate with him. Right. So animals communicate telepathically, which means a projected thought. So you want to draw a picture. You want to say, I need you to stop barking. And you say that in your mind and you direct it at the dog. And so again, there's we can get a lot further communicating by thought sometimes than we can yelling or using our voice because they're not understanding your language either. So telepathy is something that we both speak. So quite often a projected thought will calm them down faster than you necessarily, losing your shit and wigging out. So Jean said, my daughter Christina's dog is ill and she is struggling. Is it time? Actually, yes, Jean, I think it is. You know, so often, you know, we really need to think about doing what's best for the animal, not for us. Okay, and um, and they don't take it personal. So even when you put your animal to sleep, they know that what a difficult and decision that is, but they can't change this for themselves. So they have to rely on us to make the most the kindest and the most compassionate decision, okay? Because truly, if we love them, we wouldn't want them to suffer, okay? And if this is something that isn't going to get better, okay, or it's something that's going to, be a prolonged thing, um, again, trust your inner knowing. We want what we want and we don't want to let them go. Is that really for them or is that for us? Okay, and that's what we have to ask ourselves. And so if this animal's been a loving companion, we really don't want them to suffer. But just so you guys know, like 90% of the time you have to put a dog to sleep. Because it represents loyalty, it doesn't necessarily know when to leave you. So it will continue as the poor body's falling apart, it will hang on. And so that's why quite often we have to make that decision for their best interest. Okay, and trust me, they do not take it personal. So quite often I go with clients to put their pets down. Just to hold the energy while you're doing that. But it is sometimes just the absolutely most loving act. If we really love these beautiful creatures, that we don't want them hanging on because they think we can't exist without them. So we kind of want to let them in service go. So Josette says, I'd like to know which one of my cats knocked over my plant yesterday. Right? But seriously, animals are so magical. All the unconditional love they give us, the way they can sense when something's wrong, and they come to us and immediately come for us. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I have to tell you, I had a fish that used to greet me every day. Like, I had my fish bowl. I had this giant fish bowl, and I had one of those koi fish. He was so beautiful. I called him Cream, and I had a cat named Peaches. So it was Peaches and Cream. Okay, So because I was, a single weirdo living alone. Okay, this is what you do. Anyway, so when I would come to the door, Cream would come to the bowl and look up at me, come to the surface, and he'd be like, "Oh, she's home." It was so cute. Like he would meet me at the door or at the bowl. He could only get so close. He would come to the edge of his bowl and welcome me home. Oh no, I know that he heard me. So anyway. So Jack says our daughter has a new 9-month-old puppy, part German Shepherd and Husky. Her name is Valentine, and she's scared of the other dogs. She got her from an adoption agency. Okay, so again, dogs are pack animals, okay? And they do stuff like, hierarchy when it comes to it depends on what the dog is. Huskies are one of those pack animals. So there's a pecking order, and so she's going to have to find her way. But, you may want to just project to the other dogs to be nice to her. Be nice to her. She's new. And, but again, you got to kind of let them find their own rhythm with that. And, they're animals. We don't know what they need in that way. And this is how they operate. So they're, even though they're domesticated, they still have, these inherent things that come with being in packs or working in an alpha. There's a lot of that goes on. So we don't want to necessarily interfere with that, but we can definitely tell her that, just keep reassuring her. But I would definitely tell the other dogs to be nice telepathically. Hey, Elizabeth. So Mary Kay said, my girl dog, Belle, lost her brother last August. She goes in the backyard and stands in the same spot and barks at nothing. Yes, so Max is still there. Okay, so again, they still don't always understand. Well, I used to be able to play with Max and feel Max and touch Max, and now Max is, doesn't have his meat suit. And so I can just see Max, and we can't necessarily we chase each other, but we can't play like we used to. So you might want to just, gently let her know that, Max is on the other side, and again, but they still see each other. So how comforting is that? That she's still out there playing with them. So Bob says, my wife and I had to make the tough decision to put our little cat Lily down last year. Right, cats, boy, when they go, Bob, they go fast. Okay, when they get health issues, they do not, it just gets, it's like it gets bad right away. She was only a year old, and at the time it was extremely hard. Sometimes we feel like we still hear her meow. Yes. Okay, so again, that's just their way of letting you know they're around. Now, it's just like with people, guys, okay? Just because people are born doesn't mean that they don't have health issues or they don't have things that are wrong with the body. The problem is cats or dogs or whatever. I had a cat that died when it was a year old. It had obviously some underlying health issue that I wasn't really aware of. And again, depending on where you get them, sometimes they're overbred. There's just all kinds of, so this meat suit doesn't always work the way it should. So, and I know it's painful, especially with a younger animal like that. But yeah, so that is her meowing for you, Bob. Hold on. Yeah, so would you just acknowledge they're around? Okay, so if you say, "Hi, Fluffy," I know you're here. I can't see you, but I know you're here. It's just a confirmation, so they're not continually trying to get your attention. So just let them know you see them, or know or perceive them. So yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, once in a while. It shouldn't happen all the time, Bob. Okay, just so you know. Hey, Lydia. We lost our family dog in our house fire. Oh, Ruski. That's so funny. No, that's funny. The name. Ruski, I love that. That's that's funny. I'll have to tell you why, Katie, when I hang up, what that name means to me. But anyway, I'm so sorry. Hold on. And just like people, guys, okay? So it's not that the body dies and then releases your soul, okay? You actually leave the body before the body expires, so you're really spared a lot of that what looks up like suffering, okay? Um, and same thing happens with animals, okay? So your pet Katie was not in the body when the body passed away. They were already outside the body, so they did not suffer in that process, okay? That's definitely what Ruski wants to tell you is I didn't suffer. I was not he was already outside with he was outside like with everybody else, but he was not in the body. Okay, so he did not experience anything that appeared like suffering. He just wants you to know that. Okay? I know, but he's still there. Hold on. So I don't know who the real heavy sleeper is in your house, but he he stares at them while they're sleeping and then barks to get them to wake up. Okay? And so you don't hear them barking, but the person who's sleeping might think they heard somebody bark. So anyway, I don't know who the heavy sleeper is in your house, but the dog tries to wake them up because they're always, sleeping in. That's funny. You have to let us know how that goes. My husband doesn't like cats. What is what? So this is funny, Jennifer. This is for Jennifer. Um, okay, so I am deathly allergic to every animal there is on the face of the planet. Okay, anything with fur or saliva, I'm allergic to it. Okay, and I have to tell you guys. So when I go to people's houses, their animals just it's so funny. They'll be sitting. There could be 10 people, 20 people sitting around. They will come straight up to me. You know why? Because I can hear them. They know that I know that they know that I know. Okay, so they come up to me like I'll have dogs just like stare at me because I come with a whole arsenal of people too, and they know I can hear them. Okay, so to be honest with you, your husband's probably pretty sensitive. Okay, and so again, yes, sometimes the animals know more than you do about that, but yeah, that's funny. But he's probably very sensitive to that energy, and so they're just letting him know that they see him. Cats are hilarious, especially if you don't like them; they'll be all over you. But I'm allergic, deathly allergic to animals, and I would love to just snuggle them and pet them and kiss them. Okay, I was telling Nance, my son had a hamster named Ninja, and I kissed. He was so cute. He used to eat Cheerios, and he looked like he was eating donuts. He was the cutest damn thing. And so one day I just picked him up and I kissed him, and Jared looks at me and goes, "Mom, what's wrong with your lips?" And oh my God, it looked like I had collagen implant. It was so bad. Like I'm like, oh, my lips swelled up like this big. It was so funny. I looked like one of those, people who had way too much injections. Anyway, so yeah, no pets for me. But animals love me because they know I can hear them. And I'm a familiar to them. So anyway. So Amanda says, right after we put my dog down, I was laying in the bed and I swear I felt her jump on the bed beside me. Right. And that is happening, Amanda. And it usually is happening between sleep and wake, as in that twilight place is when you're going to see or feel those things. So yeah, Jason said my German Shepherd Trixie was sick. A few days after my mom died, I watched Trixie wander off behind her garage, and somehow I knew it was the last time I'd see her. I never budged. I always felt like she went off to transition on her own because I was too broken to deal with another death. I know, right, Jason? Oh, I'm so sorry you had that experience. But yes, and sometimes those animals want to go on with somebody who passed away because they want to, start that journey with them too. Or that was maybe like your mom's dog, to be honest with you. But again, sometimes your mom might have needed her more on the other side than you needed her in this reality. So that's kind of what I feel is that she was going to help your mom. I miss you, friend, by the way. They are the best. Hey, Nick, you should come down. It's me and Nance. Why don't you come down? 5 people in the house. 4 love the cat. But she always wants to be by him. I know, right? Isn't that funny? Well, yeah. Well, he's very sensitive. He thinks he's a badass. Just tell him I said so. Everybody knows he's a big softie. Okay, even the cat knows that. So my red-tailed hawk feather was a definite message. Absolutely. Hawk is a messenger. Okay, hawk is about really just coming to a higher perspective and being able to notice the details. It's a great messenger if you look it up. Okay, Tracy says, hi Tracy, by the way. I have a cat that I swear was a dog. Okay, we used to have a dog, Pumpkin, and we used to say that he was in a cat in a dog suit. But I have to tell you, there are some cats that really don't act like cats. Okay, but they really are cats. Their spirit is cat, but I don't know. They're more dog-like. I love that about them. I come when he calls, wants her belly rubbed. Yes. So yeah, I used to say that Pumpkin was a cat in a dog suit, or a dog in a cat suit. But actually, Pumpkin was just a very cool, evolved cat. He wasn't like other cats. So that's what you got there for sure. Hold on. And it's a male cat thing too. I think they're they're way friendlier, especially to women, than female cats. Okay, so male cats sometimes aren't as persnickety as female cats are. Aw, they're at peace. Our turtle interacts with us. No, I know. Cream the fish used to meet me at the bowl, and I would feed the fish, okay, and sprinkle the flakes on, and the cat would come over, and the two of them would eat together. My cat Peaches would lick the flakes off, and he's hitting the fish with his tongue, but he never ate the fish, only the fish flakes. Like, how funny is that? No, they were like freaking frack. They were so cute. Aw. So yeah, I'm offering half-hour sessions for your pets. So whether it's your living pet or your pet that's passed away, or anything that really communicates telepathically. Like I said, I can channel babies, okay, and nonverbal people. Quite often, because it's actually telepathy is an elevated communication. It's energy. We're communicating purely by energy, And so for me, being that sensitive to energy, it's a language that I can hear that a lot of people can't. So it's really not. It's it it it's actually easier for me to read and talk to animals than it is to channel people, because animals just are good at this. I'm good at this. They're good at this. It's like easy peasy.
Yeah.
But people have to learn how to speak telepathy on the other side.
Oh, for sure.
So it takes them passing away and getting with the program to learn how to communicate. I have dead people that say to me, I don't know how to do this. Like, how do I communicate with you? I'm like, okay, just project your thought. I have to tell them how to do it. It's hilarious because they've never had to do it before. All right. So Paulette says, I've always seemed to know without a doubt when it's time to put one of my doggies down. Okay, hold on. No, it's not quite time yet. So why don't you just give it a little more time? And quite often, sometimes that might happen on its own. Okay, it's not usual, but it does happen. So yeah, it isn't quite the time yet, Paulette. Just be open to paying attention. Okay, they'll give you a sign when it's time for sure. Uh, well, so this is directed to Kelly Roca. Kelly, it takes time, friend. Okay, grief is a process. Okay, and sometimes it's almost easier to grieve some people and situations than it is to grieve animals. So it's a different kind of grief, um, because they are such unconditional companions, and not that people aren't okay, but every grief is different. So depending on how someone passes away, what relationship you had with them, was it tragic? Was it not? I mean, there's so many factors, but with animals, they're just they're ride or die, and they're your friend, and there's no it's a very unconditional one-sided relationship. So it's a little different because there's a lot of emotion and other things that comes with the grief that comes with people. Okay, so there's a lot of factors that go into that. But with animals, it's a very pure thing, so it's going to take some time. And if I can help with that, just let me know. All right, kids. So you just go to my website, mariannegoldweber.com, and under readings, it's $40. I'm going to put it on there tonight. It's $40 for a half-hour session to channel your pets, whether they're alive or not. It's just so we can find out what they have to say about you. If any of you guys have a photo of your pet and you want me to tell them what you think about you, I can. Your living pets, that is. Go ahead and send me that now. If you guys have a picture of your pet, I'll tell you what they think about you. I want to do one of those before I hang up. So yeah, so I've got all kinds of classes every Sunday. We got something going on. Um, we're in the full moon, so there's a wonderful time to plant those seeds and bring something into the physical world. Uh, so that's kind of what we're doing tonight and tomorrow. Do you want to bring something into the physical world? So these sessions are half an hour, and they're $40 for a half hour, and it's very comprehensive, and you can have a chat and find out what's going on with your pets. Gosh, I love animals; they're just amazing. So if you guys have any questions about any of those things, don't hesitate to give me a call. I'm going to put my phone number. Everything's on my website, guys. So it's mariannegoldweber.com. www.mariannegoldweber.com. And yeah, so schedule your sessions. Just so you guys know, sessions are going to go back up to 80 for an hour. I would highly recommend that if you're going to get gift certificates for yourself, they're good for 3 months. If you want to go buy gift certificates. Now, the only thing that doesn't change is coaching. Coaching, you buy a block of 3 sessions for 180, and then we book those a month or 2 weeks apart, depending on what we're working through. But I've got so many new things coming up, guys. We're going to be doing some bus tours where I'm going to be booking some outdoor events, all kinds of volunteerism things. That's what Nance is going to help us with. Yeah, we'll have a lot of things going on. So yeah. So I'm sorry, guys. I can't answer a call while I'm going live. Yeah, you can't give me a call. Aw, what a handsome guy. Okay, so oh, isn't he cute? Aw. Yeah, but you sure it's a Jack Russell? Oh, he looks very regal. Hold on. Okay. Hate squirrels. Hate this animal. Is he passed or is he here? Diane? He's so cute. Hold on. Hate squirrels. Not a fan of cats. And okay, so his little cartoony voice. He was not fond of certain people too. Okay, so he was very selective about the people that he would allow into your house or into be with you. He's very protective. So he's very protective of somebody in your house if it's not you. But he really did not like squirrels at all. Like at all. Like it would go through the screen to go get a squirrel. I mean, and he's just not a big cat fan at all either. But not like squirrels. He really absolutely did not like squirrels. All right, Diane. So this was Diane Diane Weatherwax's dog. What a cutie he is. Isn't he cute? Very regal. So anyway, all right, guys. Yeah, Brandy, thanks for calling, but I can't take your call right now because I'm live. You can't do both. Okay, I Christina, I'm not gonna look at this photo if it's gross. Okay, it's telling me that it's something I don't want to see. Oh, what a cutie! So this is Brandy's puppy.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
Isn't he beautiful?
Yes.
Is he alive? Is that a female? Is that a female dog? Brandy? I wish this was back and forth. Sorry, hit the wrong. Oh, it's okay, honey. Is is this puppy alive or not? Anyway, well, so what I'm channeling for them is they like men. So I don't know if this is a female dog. Oh, he's passed. Okay, but it's a he. He liked men though. So I don't know who the men are in your house, but he was definitely a man's dog. Okay. Aw. And it was funny because he would lay on the weirdest stuff. Like you could buy him one of those cushy dog beds, and he would still lay on like a rolled up blanket on the floor. Like he would not necessarily do the puppies, like where he would lay in the fancy bed. He would, ball up a pillow or whatever and just lay on that. Very cute. Loves you very much. All right, kids. Aw, we got somebody puppy. Aw, here's my dog, Duncan. Aw, so cute. Hi, Duncan. Okay, so when you used to cry, it used to make him sad because he didn't know what to do for you. Okay, and again, we cry because we're happy, we cry because we're sad, we cry because we're mad, and so they just want to comfort you. So they just take all tears as you're hurting. So he just used to try and comfort you all the time. So if you were upset, he was definitely an emotional support dog for sure. For sure. Aw. I know I'm not sure how that works. I think you got to click the. I'm on my computer too, so I don't see one of those either. So anyway, so yeah, so that's what we got going on. Let me see who else. I got one more. Live dog talks. Oh, I love these live talks, Kristen. You know, it really keeps us connected, especially during this COVID thing. It's been awful. Oh, Josette, I was going to call you today, by the way. Um, Duncan. How cute is he? Yeah, he would definitely be an emotional support dog. You know, it appears that sometimes the dogs are needy or that they need you. They don't need you. They're really trying to comfort us. And so they read us. They can feel our energy and they're very sensitive to emotion. And so anyway, so they're just trying to comfort us, but sometimes it can appear very needy, like they're needy. And we're the needy ones, okay? Just so you know. So anyway, well, thank you so much for tonight, guys. So anyway, so I'm gonna put that on the Facebook. I'm gonna put that on the website. So half-hour sessions for your pets, living or otherwise. And again, if you take the dream class, we talk a lot about animal messengers and what the symbolism is to that. And if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call. 216 324 2657. So when you pay for your session for your animal, just call me and then we'll book it. Okay? And I look forward to doing that. So Nance, you got anything to say on the way out?
Have a great night.
Oh, thanks so much for joining us, guys. I love you all so much. And keep the peace. Okay? We're going to be getting together soon. Love you all. Thanks again. Bye bye.